With Rafts gaining popularity and mostly positive review on Steam, it's attracting more new players and possibly returning players. A lot has changed since its launch at 2018, and you might be clueless on how to play Raft. We'll be looking at 10 different common mistakes every new Raft players make and possibly how to avoid them. Weapons. So, you've gathered materials. You have a choice of either making a spear or an axe. Which one would you pick? I've seen many new players choose to create an axe first. Let me tell you why you don't want to create an axe as your first item. Axe is only used for tree cutting. It is not a weapon, nor is it useful. So instead, you should create a spear. The materials needed to create a spear are only 8 planks and 3 ropes. And maybe craft a spare hook and a hammer after. Spear is used to hit Bruce, the shark, from destroying your raft. Bruce attacks you every 5 to 10 minutes. How many times you hit him depends entirely on your difficulty. For peaceful, Bruce will not attack you nor destroy your raft. For easy and normal, it takes 3 hits. For hard, it is entirely different, and you should not be playing on a higher difficulty if you are a beginner. Which put us to our second point, building your raft. Common mistake new players make is adding utilities at the center of the raft. As you can see here, there is 30% chance Bruce would attack the corners first, then 5% chance of destroying the outer middle part. So, you might be saying, what happens if I destroy the corners? Would that mean Bruce would likely not attack me? Wrong. If we build a cross-shaped raft, as you could see here, the percentage of him destroying your outer raft equalizes to 18% all around. It's best to just build your raft with corners so you could expect where Bruce would likely hit. Make sure once you have the resources, fortify your corners. It would help you tremendously. Our next point is food, which many new players struggle with, and that is perfectly fine. If you want to survive board days, it is necessary to organize your food resources. In Raft, there are 4 ways to gather food. First one is by gathering fruits in islands. There are only 4 types of fruits you could gather: watermelon and pineapple, found mainly on the ground, and for mango and coconut, you must chop down trees and it will drop. Second way to gather is by killing animals such as seagulls and Bruce, the shark. Third way is by farming. And finally, fishing. The best way to gather food is to alternate between farming and fishing. Let's talk about farming. For starters, when you get near an island, seagull will likely eat your crops. So, it's best to put your small plot under your research table for the time being until you get a scarecrow. It does not matter what you plant, whether it be potato or beet, but make sure to cook it before consuming because you would not get any fuller if you eat it uncooked. For fishing, it's best to save herring and pomfret to create bait, which leads us to our next point, Bruce. Bruce is actually very easy to defeat. All you need is to time his attack and maybe 2 to 3 wooden spears. The timing is very simple. When you see him heading towards you, be ready. Once he opens his mouth, that's when you will attack. Once you had the right timing, it would give you an iframe so he would not be able to hit you. If you're bad at timing, that's perfectly fine because you could always use shark bait to distract Bruce. Baits usually last around 1 minute, so make sure to fish a lot. The reason we want to defeat or distract Bruce is so that we could gather the resources necessary to progress. I just want to make it known that you do not need to collect any items on land except for fruits. 100% of the items you need are under the ocean, so hold your breath because I will tell you the necessary resources you will need. First, seaweed. Do not overcollect though, because you only need 21 to beat the game. Clay and sand to make wet bricks. You have to dry them by placing them in your raft. You need bricks so you could craft a furnace. In turn, you will be able to smelt metal. Copper and vine goo. Make sure you could gather as much metal and copper as you could, because that would allow us to upgrade your tools. Which take us to our next point, upgrading tools. I've seen many new players choose to save the materials instead of creating better tools. For example, scrap hook. Scrap hook allows us to reel in faster and collect materials twice as fast. It's totally worth it. It would make the game a lot easier. Radio placement. If you want to progress in Raft's story, you must build a radio receiver. In order for the radio to work, you will need to have 3 antennas and 1 battery. You have to place the antennas 1 placement higher and 2 blocks away in different directions. Something like this. After that, you will receive a connection for the radio channel, which is the blue dot on the screen. The placement on the screen is accurate, so I suggest placing the computer in front of your raft so it's easier to read the position of the location you are heading. Do you want to farm for materials without doing anything? Nets allow you to collect the floating resources that go to your raft. If you are making a net, make sure it's fortified so Bruce could not destroy it since it's more expensive to make. Ninth point is blueprints. blueprints. Are you tired of having no inventory space because you've gathered too many blueprints? Well, you're in luck because you only need to hold it in your hand once. It will automatically do research for you. So throw all those blueprints away. As long as you've researched the materials required for the blueprint, it should show up eventually on the research table. Finally, you must know that there are a variety of animals that would attack you. So be careful when entering an island, like this bird. This bird will drop rocks at you. The only way to kill this bird is by making bow and arrow and landing your shots, of course. Those are my 10 pieces of advice I gave to you. You don't have to follow this advice. At the end of the day, what matters is you have fun. I will end it here. Thank you for watching.